Here's verse 11 of the 10th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We continue with a conversation about Jesus and his instructions to his disciples as they're going on their first mission to the towns and communities in Galilee. He's giving instructions now that really go to the ancient Near Eastern practices connected to hospitality, which could be quite convoluted, quite complicated, and actually could give rise to a fair amount of sometimes tension in the community, because maybe unlike the modern world, there was a certain degree of really falling all over oneself to be hospitable and to outdo others, maybe in that particular aspect of ancient Near Eastern custom. And so Jesus wants to cut past all of this and gives instructions which are intended to create some degree of efficiency and bypass a lot of that which was ordinarily applicable. So he's speaking now as they enter various towns. Into, eis, is a preposition, takes the accusative. Here's the accusative relative pronoun in the feminine, because it agrees with actually both city and town here. So into which, with the on particle, which adds the subjunctive, so into whichever is the idea. The de there is the contraction of de, the postpositive. So into whichever Polen, city, a conjunction, or komain, town or village. Into whichever one, eis eilthit, you enter, from eis erchomai. This is the second person plural, aorist active indicative. So into whichever city or town you enter. Exotaseta, this is from exotazo, means to inquire, to make an inquiry. It can actually refer to a somewhat careful investigation and so on. At this point, it doesn't necessarily mean anything quite so demanding, but it does suggest a initial inquiry, which is intended to bypass a great deal of the attempts by the local inhabitants to really go out of their way to try to get someone to stay in their house, to really simply make an initial inquiry and bypass some of that. So exotasita, to inquire. Tis, this is the interrogative pronoun. Who is the idea. Who, in, preposition with the dative aute, in it. This is, of course, referring back to the city or town, into which, who in it. Axios, worthy, is the idea. And then, of course, before an enclitic, it has the additional accent there. Axios estin, whoever in it is worthy. That is, where's a good place to stay without trying to necessarily go into a great deal of convoluted practice about this. Just find where is a decent place that will accommodate our presence, and that's really the extent of it. Again, it's intended to kind of bypass some of what may otherwise been a fair amount of social protocol. Kake, this is either a conjunction or an indeclinable adverb. It means there. Menit, from meno, to abide, to remain, to stay. This is the second person plural aorist active imperative. So menit, remain there. Heos, until, and then the on once again as the subjunctive. So until such a time as, or until whenever would be the idea. Ex eilthit, you exit. The opposite of entering is exiting here. So when you enter, you find out rapidly where's a place to stay with a worthy owner, and go to that place, stay there until you exit the town. Jesus doesn't expect they're going to be spending a very long time in any particular town. They're supposed to be moving from city to city and town to town with some degree of rapidity, with this remarkable message that the kingdom of heaven is arriving. Get yourself ready. And so this is not a time for lengthy hospitality, but simply, as it were, the bare minimum to reach the town, spread the message, and be on one's way.